You want to shut it down. You keep talking about it.
The last time, Chuck, you shut it down.
No.
And then you opened
20
it up very
times.
quickly. And
I wonder if I sit real still if people will even notice I'm here. I'm a manila envelope taped to a beige wall. No one can see me.
None of us have said.
you want to know something?
You've said
okay,
it.
you want to put that on
You
my...
said it.
President Pence, the Pence administration, the Michael Pence Presidential Library and Casino.
That was quite a scene yesterday. Wow. Yeah. You know, at his worst, Donald Trump has been a bully and a clown his entire life. But yesterday, it was his worst traits on display for all the world to see, live from the Oval Office. The president was embarrassing and undignified in his fight with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Some of his fans may have liked it, but most Americans do not. This is the type of wretched behavior that led to the Democratic landslide last month. There is no upside for Trump or his minions after that. Instead, Mr. Trump embarrassed himself. He weakened Republicans' hand in the budget talks and drove a wedge between himself and the Senate Republicans whose support he will need if he is impeached by the House. Contrast the buffoon we saw yesterday with the quiet heroism and professionalism of Robert Mueller, whose valor as a Marine has been the through line of his entire career.
And you know, yesterday was the 50th anniversary of the Battle of Mutter's Ridge. And as Garrett Graff with Wired reminds us, that's where Marine Second Lieutenant Robert Mueller would receive the Bronze Star with valor for his actions in combat. Now, Robert Mueller volunteered for the Marines after Princeton. But get this. He was at first ruled medically unfit. This was in the middle of an unpopular war. Instead of saying that he had bad feet, bad knees, he instead... Bone spurs. He spent the next year rehabbing his injured knees before he entered OCS. He spent a year to rehab his knees so he could go to Vietnam. Then he went to Army Ranger School, which is a rare honor for Marine. At Mutter's Ridge 50 years ago yesterday, Robert Mueller's platoon took casualties and were trapped by 200 North Vietnamese. One Marine remembers being trapped on the ground and hearing a shout from atop the ridge, "Who's down there? Are you dead?" It was Lieutenant Mueller. "Hold on," Mueller shouted. "We're coming down to get you." That day was the second heaviest fire I ever received in Vietnam, Marine David Harris said. But Lieutenant Mueller was there, directing traffic, positioning people, and calling in airstrikes. He was standing upright, moving, and he saved their lives. His Bronze Star commendation read this: Second Lieutenant Mueller's courage, aggressive initiative, and unwavering devotion to duty at great personal risk to himself were instrumental in the defeat of the enemy, keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Marine Corps.
We have said it before, Trump has never faced an adversary like Mueller. And Tuesday showed why this president and his advisors should be so very worried about the looming showdown between these two extremely different men.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.